Alright, this is part 11 of my walkthrough of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So if you remember in part 9, I went to Kakariko Village and started the Biggoron trading sequence. Well, I'm going to finish that sequence in this video and get the Biggoron Sword. So just to recap on where I've been so far in terms of the Biggoron trading sequence. I went to Kakariko Village, talked to the chicken lady, got the chicken egg, used Sun Song in order to hatch the chicken egg, took the chicken egg to Melon, the owner of Lon Lon Ranch, who was once again sleeping inside of some house, took the chicken back to the chicken lady, got the blue chicken, took the blue chicken into Lost Woods. Some guy gave me this mushroom for it, took that mushroom to the potion shop in Kakariko Village in less than 3 minutes. Then she gave me an odd potion, and then I took that odd potion back to Lost Woods and got the saw. Okay, I think that's everything. So now that I thawed this King Zora out, he gave me a Zora tunic free of charge. So this is very useful, it lets me breathe underwater. So if you remember in the previous video I got the iron boots that lets me sink to the bottom of water. So now if I use that in conjunction with the Zora tunic, it'll allow me to stay underwater as long as I'd like. Okay, so this is the shop I was talking about that was blocked by red ice. That can't be good for business. Maybe he'll give me a reward too. I mean, I opened up his shop. Not that there's anyone else to buy. Come to think of it, I could probably use another heart. Okay, so there's that Zora tunic I just got. And this is the same guy who sells fish for 200 rupees. Wait, so he's saying like in the entire world, or at least in the area, only one family can afford this jacket, and he's selling it. So if he has something that only one family can afford, I mean, how much sense does that make? That'd be like me selling something and saying only Bill Gates can afford this. And what if the family doesn't want to buy it? So he's just gonna go to all the trouble to make that and stock it. I mean, he's had that thing stocked for 7 years. Just on the hopes that maybe, just maybe, that one family in Kakariko Village will decide to come to Zora's domain and buy this jacket. So essentially, as you can see, even with the maximum amount of rubies I can carry, I can't buy that jacket. If you get 30 gold spiders, they give you a giant wallet, which lets you carry up to 500 rupees. And then if you use that, then you can buy the Zora tunic for 300 rupees. But of course I already got the Zora tunic for free, so I don't need it. Okay, so I got the poacher's saw, and I need to take that to Gerudo Valley. And this is just running around the field. This takes a while, so I'm just speeding this part up for you. Did you just see Lake Kalea? The entire thing was empty. Man, everything's in chaos now with Ganondorf on the loose. Okay, so once again I'm using Epana that I got in part 9 of this series. Okay, so in this playthrough, I think this is actually the first time I've been in Gerudo Valley. So if you go there when you're a kid, the bridge is fixed, but there's a Gerudo lady blocking your path, and there's a fence, so you can't get through there. Now, if you go when you're an adult, the Gerudo isn't there, but the bridge is broken. So now normally you'd use the long shot, which is an item you get in the water temple. That's still a ways off. But if you get a Pana, then you can just jump over the bridge and get there a lot sooner. So that's what I'm going to do. So Epana is extremely useful in getting the Biggoron Sword. I'd recommend you get Epana anyway, even if you're not going to get the Biggoron Sword. But especially if you're going to attempt to get this Biggoron Sword, you're definitely going to want to have Epana with you. Wow, that is a really long jump. I mean, I've seen Epana jump over fences, but until I saw that bridge jump, I had no idea Epana could do something like that. Okay, there's that poacher's saw. So you just give it to this carpenter here. With his old lady. So now this is just speculating on my part, but is it possible that carpenter guy and the old lady in the potion shop are married, and that guy in the Lost Woods is their son? I think they mentioned that somewhere, and probably wasn't paying attention that well. Okay, so I just got, this big Goron sword, and there's a big Goron on the top of Death Mountain who makes them, but of course now it's broken, so I gotta get him to fix it. Alright, so if you remember in part 9 of the series, I got this folio of fire that lets me warp back to the center of Death Mountain. I guess the crater is what they call it. Okay, so now I gotta go all the way to the top of Death Mountain. As you can imagine, that's going to take a while, and if you've been keeping up with my series, you already saw me do it as a kid. So I'm just going to fast forward through this part. Okay, that's where the rocks I blew up 7 years ago were. Now if you go through this part as a kid, the rocks are almost impossible to dodge. They come right for you, so you need the Hylian shield to block them. But as an adult, the rocks aren't quite as bad. They're avoidable. Oops. Alright, so I gotta climb back up here. And now that enemy's too far to Z-target. I might be able to hit him with the hook shot, but it seems a little far. This hook shot doesn't have much reach, so I just climbed up there. Alright, here's the guy who can repair my sword. Yesterday's eruption. So if I had come here one day sooner, I wouldn't have to go through this eyedrop stuff. Well, that's not really true. So essentially, every time you come here, you got to go through this eyedrop thing. There's no way in the game to get around having to do that. Okay, so I had the text going kind of fast, so you might have not seen it. He said I've got to go to King Zora in order to get these eyedrops. So me unthawing King Zora, that's actually something required in order to finish the Biggoron Sword trading quest. Now you just saw there, that was the shortcut back to Zora's domain from Lake Halea. But Lake Halea I mean not Lake Alea, Zora's domain is frozen over. So that shortcut is blocked off. So I guess I'm going to have to do things the long way. But I still think this is faster than going all the way from the top of Death Mountain. Okay, so in case you didn't see the previous video, I went through the ice cavern, got, like I mentioned, got the iron boots, and I also got some blue fire to thaw off King Zora. So since I had to thaw off King Zora anyway and get the blue fire, I figured I might as well finish the ice cavern. I'm trying to do all these the missions that I'm going to do anyway as efficiently as possible, and trying to get two things done at once essentially. And you've probably seen me go through this Zora's River and all this before, so once again I'm just speeding these parts up. Alright, so finally I get back to Zora's domain, and now I want to get some eyedrops from this guy. Uh-oh, so here's another sequence where they give you a time limit. So now I gotta go all the way back to Lake Alea, but I only have 3 minutes to do it. And if I was running I'd be worried, but with Epona it shouldn't really be a problem. So thank goodness the entire river isn't frozen over. It's only Zora's domain that's frozen. So at least I can swim through this river here. Well, I'm not really even swimming, I'm just running through it. So what happened with the river? Is it just that I'm an adult now so I can stand up in this area? Or is it that the river doesn't have as much water? What happened with that? Okay, so finally it gets shallow enough for me to swim through it instead of just walking. Okay, finally I make it into Hyrule Field. I've got just 2 minutes left. That should be enough time though, right? I just gotta make it back to Lake Alea. It's a good thing I have Epona right there. So supposedly you can jump over that metal fence. I think I've done it before, but had a little difficulty there. And now is actually a very bad time for me to be having these difficulties. So essentially, I'm just going to decide to cut my losses, and I have a minute left. So rather than try to risk getting over there with Epona and risk messing up some more, I'm just going to try to take the long way and take the ladder back up. so that's actually the first time I've been in Lake Kalea through that entrance. I've been there through the shortcut in Zora's Domain, and I've used the warp song to get here, but I've never been in that entrance before. So I guess that's why they showed me that short little cutscene, I guess you would call it, where they just show you Lake Kalea. I wonder how long Zora's Domain has even been frozen over. I mean, has it been frozen over for like 5 years or 4 years, or did it just freeze over in the last year? Alright, so I guess at this point they just assume you're gonna want the eyedrops. They don't even bother giving a yes or no option for this. Oh great, there's another time limit. Now unfortunately I didn't make it into Lake Kalea with Epona. So now I've got to go back out to the entry point. That could cost me some time. And this is actually pretty difficult. I've got to go all the way up to the top of Death Mountain in only 4 minutes. And to top it off, you know, like I said before, the warp songs don't work. If you try to use a warp song on this, they're just going to bring your time back to 0. So I've got to go all the way from this Hyrule Field with no shortcuts all the way to the top of Death Mountain. Alright, here I go. And once again, this is something I'd strongly recommend having upon it before. I'm not even sure if it's possible to do this at all without Epona. I can barely do it with Epona. I think I'm doing okay so far. I'm mostly through Hyrule Field, and I have 3 minutes to go. Okay, so now I've got to take the path through Kakariko Village. So I was just thinking, another way to do it would have been to go to Zora's River, then take the shortcut to the Lost Woods, and then within the Lost Woods, take the shortcut up to Goron City. But to be honest, I'm not sure how much time that would save, because I'd have to go all the way through Zora's River. So I think this might even be a shorter way. I haven't tested it though, so I don't know for sure. It's just giving you an alternative option there, maybe. Okay, so I don't know how I feel about this. I gotta go all the way to the top of Death Mountain in less than 2 minutes. I wish Link could run faster. You know, it's kind of nice if you played Zelda Skyward Sword. There's a sprint feature where Link can sprint when he gets tired. That's a little more realistic. Of course, it's a newer game, so of course it's going to have more features like that. And there still kind of bugs me how he doesn't pick up speed or can't go any faster than this. Oh geez, I'm really getting mauled with these rocks, but I'm in such a hurry. 50 seconds to go. Gotta make it up this wall here. And I only have one heart now. So now not only have I got to worry about this time limit, now I got to worry about that. Oh crap! The guy just jumped down on me. If he had knocked me off, that might have been over right there. Okay, now I don't have time to. Oh come on! I can't get that fairy. Why can't I get that? Look at that! Oh jeez! Oh, did you see that? He just knocked me onto the platform. If he had knocked me off, it would have been over right there. So I got, like... Okay, 10 seconds left. I can do this. I can do this. So once again, they don't give you a yes or no option for this, but that kind of makes sense, because why would you want to travel all the way up to Death Mountain and then say no? Okay, so finally, after going through all those hoops, finally you've completed the trading sequence. Oh, I gotta wait now? I mean, I guess waiting a bit isn't that big of a deal in retrospect after what I've been through. But just after doing all that, I'm really eager to get this Biggoron Sword now and get it over with. So like I mentioned in previous video, this Great Fairy here can restore your hearts and magic power. I'm really low on hearts. Well, I've got just half a heart left. So I'd just like to get my hearts restored here. Okay, so now you have to go through several days in the game. I'm not sure exactly how many it is. Like 4 or 5, maybe 8 at the most. So one way to get through that really quickly is to just play Sun Song over and over. So if you're in a place where time doesn't pass, like Death Mountain Crater, then it actually just, the screen fades and you go back to the entrance. And it switches between day and night a lot faster than if you just want to wait for the sped up day and night sequence outside of Death Mountain. So this is just the fastest way to get him to finish that Biggoron Sword. Can you imagine if you didn't have Sun Song? I mean, either you'd have to sit there and wait for like 30 minutes or something for day and night to pass, or you'd have to just play through the game regularly, and then come back later and go all the way back up to Death Mountain. why did this Goron choose to be on the top of Death Mountain anyway? Couldn't it have been anywhere? Or I guess it actually couldn't fit in anywhere else, like the Goron Cavern. So I guess it just has to be outside here. Alright, so I just finally, after doing all that trading, going through all that work, I got the Biggoron Sword. So now that, it does twice as much damage as even the Master Sword. And 4 times as much damage as the Pyrite Sword. Or twice as much damage as a stick even, if you want to look at it. Yeah, it's even more powerful than the stick. So, a jumping slash with the Biggoron Sword is going to do 8 damage, or 8 times as much damage as a regular slash with the Pyrite Sword. So like those re-deads, they're going to be dead in 1 hit. Or if I had the Biggoron Sword against the boss of the Dongo's Cavern, it could die in 1 hit. That's how powerful the sword is.